Hey, my name is Coach, and I am a big fan of FNAF. And about a month ago, I saw this YouTube short for this amazing looking animatronic, creepy, I don't even know what it is, a movie series game, Susie Snack Time. And I'm like, okay, this is sweet. Like, I love this. I love this aesthetic. It's creepy, it's crazy. I'm like, okay, awesome. And then I started getting more and more suggestions to like look at um, these shorts. And I'm like, okay, I have to figure out what this thing actually is. And if we take a look here, I finally watched um, this this video talking about um, the actual game. So I did my own research, and we did this Candyland early development trailer. And I watched through this, and I'm like, oh my god, this looks amazing. It looks like a game. I'm so excited. But then I started looking at the comments, and then I saw like, oh, it's an NFT. Now, fun little fact: I actually work in the NFT industry or the crypto industry. I'm a Solana developer, and I got kind of sad because everyone started saying like, "Oh, this looks amazing. This looks amazing," but I'm disappointed it's an NFT project. Like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want you to scam me. And I got sad because as someone who's in this industry, I want to dispel this. So today I'm going to make a little video about dispelling some things and a defense of Candyland. Now, this comes with a lot of criticisms too and a lot of caveats, but I wanted to go through, give you guys a little bit of an intro, a full disclosure of where I'm at personally with it, criticism and defenses of NFTs because they don't have to be a scam, Goldenlane Studio investigations, and conclusion. So I will go through everything here. And the first thing I wanted to address when we look into our intro here is one, who am I? So my name is Coach Chuck Christian, and I am a Solana developer. I've been developing Solana for about a year and a half now. Prior to that, I was an embedded systems engineer. And I actually got started with a Noah Kagan video that long ago talking about NFTs. And I wanted to address some things about Candyland. And the main comment that really made me start thinking was this. This comment, I feel extremely mixed about this. On one hand, it looks so cool, and if it was a game, I'd play it, especially if it was FNAF and Bioshock inspired. Like, yes, obviously. But on the other hand, it's so saddening that Goldland Studios decided to do an NFT. And even though people warning them how bad it is about the environment, which is actually not true. I'll get to that in the NFT piece of it. Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake, so it's a lot better. The graphic card mining is no longer a thing for Ethereum. Um, and the sad part is like the NFTs don't have to be a bad thing, and I really hope Golden Lane Studios does this the correct way instead of the one that's going to breed a lot of distrust. So I just want to address a few things. Do I think they're cashing on FNAF? Well, it's certainly heavily inspired, but I don't want to say it's an easy cash out because Golden Lane Studios has been around for over 10 years and has been doing FNAF like fan uh, animations for over 8 years. So they've been around a lot. It makes me feel like this is very much a passion project as opposed to, a cheap cash out. So, and then, yeah, it's pretty blatant. Like, Snack Time Susie and Circus Baby, very heavily inspired. And then you have the fun time looking other characters. But again, that's okay because again, I want more in this realm. I love this aesthetic of creepy animatronics and like dystopian horror, and I really really hope that it goes well. And then yes, I was a little surprised when I saw it was an NFT, but I was also really excited because this is the realm that I'm in. Um, So we're just going to move straight on into full disclosure. I spent $750 on these KandyLand NFTs. I own one Mythic, this one, a Susie, and one of each common of the rest of them. And I just want to let you know, I'm not doing it out of speculation. Caveat, however, if someone if someone wanted to pay me a lot of money for the Mythic one, I'm not going to say no. So I am completely okay with this 750 going down to zero, because the way I view NFTs is not speculative investment, and I really don't want you to either. The way that I look at it is very much crowdfunding for a project that I really, really want to exist, and being able to keep a piece of that history, right? Like I was around when KandyLand's was getting started, and I bought a piece of that. It's kind of like being in the crowdfunding, like the GoFundMe's, where they say, "Hey, we'll put your name in the credits if you donate X amount." So we get to keep this verifiable proof of like, yes, I was there when it was getting started, and that's how I look at it. Um, and again, yes, if someone wants to offer me an obscene amount of money, I will probably sell it. But for me, it's more of a collection. Like I just love this aesthetic. I'm going to keep it in my wallet. Um, it's going to be great. And again, how I view NFTs is very much like, I don't think of it as speculative investment. I think of it as a collection. And I remember, way back in the day, I used Minecraft when it was in its alpha stage. Like that's when I first bought Minecraft, and it would have been kind of cool to have like a little like, oh yeah, I was there around, the very early days of Minecraft before Notch sold it for billions of dollars to Microsoft, which I think is amazing. Um, so the other reason I want to make this video, and just full disclosure, because like honesty is my biggest policy, especially being in the crypto space. Like I have to be like blatantly honest with everything. Um, this video, this aesthetic has a lot of potential. And I really do think at some point, Matt Pat with Game Theory and other channels will probably make a video on this. I'm not trying to cash in on the fame of it or anything, but I really wanted to make it because I wanted to dispel the idea that NFTs are automatically a bad thing. Like, I don't want people to dismiss this wonderful creation because it's an NFT. And I'm hoping that at some point this might be seen, and to say like, hey, I'm a huge fan of all of your work over at Game Theory. Like I've been watching for years and years. Um, I wanted to make this just so there's something pro, hey, here's a defense. It doesn't have to be bad. And Goldenlane, if you're watching this, I really hope you take some of the considerations that I throw out there on how you do this correctly, as opposed to fall into the trap I've seen so many other projects take. So again, $750 is what I have into it around. Um, Again, I will sell the Mythic one if people offer me enough money for it, but I am expecting it to go to zero. I don't expect to really ever sell it, and I will probably never sell the four commons. How I view NFTs is it's very much a way to crowdfund. It's a way to donate to creators that's easier, more effective, and gives people like a proof of ownership of like, hey, I was there at the beginning. And why I wanted to make this is because I do believe at some point there will be a Game Theory video on it. And I wanted to, fanboy over Matt Pat a second and say like, hey, thanks for the work. And please don't just dismiss this because it's an NFT. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So now that's out of the way, criticisms and defenses of NFTs. So before we actually get into KandyLand itself, I just want to talk about NFTs and why they don't have to be a bad thing. And first of all, the criticisms. The NFT in the crypto world right now is very unregulated. It is very rife for scams because it is very easy for an influencer to say like, hey, buy into this, you'll make a lot of money. First and foremost, do not buy crypto as speculation. You will lose money, I can guarantee you. Do not take anyone's financial advice buying these things. Do it because you want to collect it or because you want to support a particular project. Um, and generally speaking, if anyone says that you're going to make money by buying something, don't do it. Please don't do it. That's how pyramid schemes and Ponzi schemes work. Is if it exists to solely get new dumb money in, the people at the top are selling, and you're going to lose all your money. And if you want some like really good, really well thought out criticisms, please go watch Folding Ideas. He does a great job of talking about like, hey, these are problems in the NFT space and the crypto space. The line goes up and the future is dead. And I have watched all of this. I just rewatched part of it, so that's why I only got that far. But yes, there are a lot of scams. It is the Wild West, and there are a lot of bad actors, which is unfortunate because I think it can be a very valuable piece of like one. I love the idea of digitally collecting things. Like I started playing RuneScape when I was a kid, and I remember having my account and like if I were to like lose all those items, it would be devastating. And right now, I had bought in like a lot of movies that I keep digitally on Google Play, but then I moved over to Apple because now I'm an Apple fanboy, and I had to rebuy a bunch of movies. So I have a big digital collection, and in the NFT space, I love supporting individual artists and buying their art and just collecting it for myself. Like I like the idea of having this virtual space, like in VR, that I can put the artwork that I've curated and collected, not out of any way to monetize it, but to basically say like, hey, this is my online presence. This is important to me. Um, so that's kind of how I view these things. And yes, there are a lot of scams. CoffeeZilla talks a lot about them. I highly recommend you check them out too. Um, but not all NFT projects are scams. A lot of them are just inexperienced as well. So a lot of ones that like you could say like, oh, that was a scam or a rug pull. I think the people were very well meaning, and this is a criticism I'll have at the very end, talking about Goldenlane, is you really have to decide whether a team can pull off a project and if they bite off more than they can chew. I know there's countless crowdfunding platforms and ideas that never took off. And I think a lot of them were well meaning, but they didn't know what they were getting into. Um, so a lot of NFT projects have also come from inexperienced people because instead of, in the VC world, if you wanted to get funding for something, you create a pitch deck, you put a team together, and you say like, oh, hey, this is our business plan, and can you throw us a couple million, which is surprisingly not as hard as you think it is for a software product because it's infinitely scalable. Um, but a lot of those teams, again, are inexperienced. And in the NFT realm, it's very easy for people to say, like, hey, I have this great idea. We're going to put together some artwork. We're going to get people really excited and say, like, hey, here's my roadmap. Like, invest because it's going to go to the moon. Again, if you hear that string of comments, don't buy it. Buy it because you like the art or because you like the team. But don't believe that your money is going to go up. And these well-intentioned teams fail because at the end of the day, they need to make a business that doesn't require people to keep their fans to keep spending money. And a lot of people just can't build products. So kind of more on the defense of NFTs is, again, if you're going to do this correctly, use the NFT sale as an initial crowdfunding source, right? So these NFTs, the owner gets something back. Like we get to keep these. It is mutably ours. Like we can prove that we did it. Like we were part of it, and it's something that you own. Kind of like think of it in like a gotcha game or like Fortnite skins. Like these are assets that we want to own, regardless, and we're giving back to the team that's going to be building this. So again, it can be extremely good with crowdfunding, but you have to be very diligent as the purchaser to know, like, okay, can a team pull this off? Like, is my money going to go to waste? And there's some criteria that I'll go over in the next slide when we talk about, like, okay, can Goldenlane Studios pull this off? And just to give like one more little defense of NFTs is, again, like if you look at it without speculation and only as collection, we've been doing this for a very long time. Like the video game industry, we buy merch, we buy the pre-order bonuses, and these are all ways to keep the developer funded so they can keep building content that we love and enjoy. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just a different class of collectible, and it's just unfortunate that it's seen so much in the speculation world, um, where yes, there is the ability for there to be speculation, but I don't think that should be the main concept. And please, Golden Lane Studios, if you need more money, pitch this out to VCs or have someone like inject money elsewhere. Don't denigrate your position by trying to micro capitalize on you know selling more like mini NFTs, unless there's like a clear defined this is what it's for. You have a lot of responsibility here to do this correctly, and I really hope you do, because your IP, again, as I'll go over the math in a little bit, your IP can be worth way, way more than these NFTs ever will be. And that's the important thing to know is you can certainly do something great with this IP, because it does feel very much like does very much feel like a um, construction of love to this new universe that you're bringing to life. So, with all of that, Golden Lane Studios investigation. So, some good things and some criticisms. The first thing, again, just to recap, I don't think this is a quick cash out. I don't think it's a blatant copy of FNAF either. I think it's very much a project of love, because they've been doing these fan animations for like 8 years now for FNAF and other things using um, what is it called, the Source Filmmaker and Unreal Engine 5, and they've been around for a lot. Obviously, they care about this community, and they have 1.8 million subscribers, which again is pretty great. And if we look at the view counts of these fan works, like we're looking at millions of views. So obviously they care, which is great, and that's what I want to see. Um, the So that's there. I don't think they're a scam. I think it is a creation of love. However, there are a couple things here that I want to like nitpick. One, I know you're doing this to appease the gods here, but the algorithms, the algorithm gods, is your titles here are very, very clickbaity. Which, if I had any criticism, like you're already an NFT project, like people are already a little on edge. I know that these probably help, but trust me, like your aesthetic, like the way these things look, will probably drive most of that without things that are super clickbaity. Um, so just a thought there. The other thing that I want to like nitpick, and again, there's multiple reasons for this, is we have a lot of engagement um, in Twitter. And one thing that I always kind of look at with these projects is like, okay, is there a potential of them artificially inflating their followers and their interactions? Um, and this one I'm not entirely sure of, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say no, or I don't think so. But here's just some things that I look for is, okay, so this was actually me. I'm the one who bought the most expensive Suzy, which sweet, I guess. And it's actually what prompted me to like make this video. Again, not for the proof of return, but again because I really wanted like people to say like, hey, NFTs aren't necessarily a cash out, and I love this. But one thing I do kind of notice is like the engagement here isn't a whole lot. Like 10 likes and 2 comments. And I swear to God, I'm not trying to be like, oh, like I posted something and people should pay more attention to me. It's just because when it comes to bots on these sites, it's very blatant when people are like buying likes or followers because they'll have like super inflated numbers, but then like the responses won't make sense, or they won't be like regardless. And it just looks like there's not a whole lot of engagement for the amount of followers there are. Now, this very well could be because, again, you know, I didn't even know this was an NFT project until like I really looked into it. And that Venn diagram of people who like games and FNAF and people who like NFTs is probably very, very slim. So there's probably not as much engagement as you might think there is. The other one is the Discord seems a little quiet too. And just for something of this caliber, it always puts a little bit of a yellow flag in my head. Um, and I think, like, again, from my standpoint, honesty is very, very important to me, and I wanted to put those out there. Again, I don't think they're doing any of this to be shady or different, but it is kind of like a question of like, okay, can they pull this off? And that's like the big question with Goldenlane Studio is, they have a lot of experience with this technology and how to make it look good. Like um, I think just looking through their catalog here, it's very clear that they are very talented with Unreal Engine and Source Filmmaker. Um, the only thing that I will say, and this is actually just something I want to bring up because I think it's so fun. I did some research into what Golden Lane Studio is, who it was, who runs it, and an article came up about this video where they use mocap to help do these animations. And for this kissing scene that's right there, he wrote out in the interview like, "Oh yeah, I had to do both parts of the kissing scene where like I had to hug and mocap that, and then I had to run around to the other side and mocap myself kissing myself," which is just a super fun little side note that I thought was worth bringing up. So yes, obviously, great. Great ability to create animation. I haven't watched a lot of these videos, but it seems like they understand the idea of storytelling and this animatronic fear Bioshock mix type thing. So obviously very talented. However, that doesn't necessarily relate to video game development, and that's like my thought. And this is also could be the criticism with the social medias is like just because you can make great animations doesn't mean you're good with social media or marketing, which these things are all very, very necessary to like create a product that people will buy and make the IP worth a lot of money. And talking about the money, let's take a look at the actual collection here and see how much they've made, because I think that's important when you kind of look at these things of like, okay, can they pull this off? Do they have the runway needed to, um, and what they have to gain? And again, what I can guarantee you right now, Golden Lane, is that if you do this IP correctly, it'll be worth way more than you made from this NFT collection. So I did a little bit of math. They minted out 0.11 Ethereum, and they have a collection of 7,777. So we get about 850 Ethereum there, and royalties, which means they've done in volume about a thousand Ethereum, and they get 5% of that thousand Ethereum. So about another 50 there. So in today's money, that's worth about $1.5 million, which sounds like a lot, until you start looking at how expensive it is to make an actual game or make a production that people want. And again, I love Five Nights at Freddy's, um, but the dumpster fire that is Security Breach costs $5 million. Just to give you context, And again, I love Security Breach. I love all of its flaws. I love that it's buggy. Like, it feels so nostalgic and cozy, and I just love everything about it, which is why I'm so passionate about this. But it is a buggy mess, and it wasn't finished, and it still cost $5 million, right? So 1.5 million to their 5 million is different. And again, that's an established, Steel Wool is an established game development company, and Goldenlane's has been doing fan work for a very long time. So I wanted to throw that all in there because I think it's worthwhile to look at. I don't know if they're able to pull it off, but I desperately want them to because I want this IP to exist. So that brings us all into our conclusion here. So again, I know it's been a lot of talking. Do I believe it's a scam? No, I don't think it's a scam. I think that it is a creation of love. I think they've been around for a long time making fan art, and I think they really wanted to branch off, do something unique, do something their own. And I think that the NFT way is a great way of crowdfunding for it. And Goldenlane, I really hope that this is what you're planning, is like keep people in the loop. They know what they're getting, for their money if they decide to contribute and help you out. Because this is an incredible IP, and if done well, if we just take a look at how quickly your channel Snack Time Susie or Susie Snack Time grew, like you turned it into 400,000 subscribers quickly and within months. And if that's any indication of like what you can sell for, like, let's say you do release a video game or like chapters of it, like Poppy Playtime did, let's say 500,000 people buy the game at $5. 500,000 at times $5. You're looking at 2.5 mil there, which already doubled. And that's not to mention like what you could potentially do with merchandising and further games. So again, like I think you guys have an amazing IP. I think you have the right aesthetic, and I think you guys got the chops to create it. But please, please don't make a further bad name for NFTs. Like, keep this as a collectible. Keep it for people who really want to support you at the beginning. Maybe give them some in-game perks like a different skin or something, but nothing that's going to, gate people from actually enjoying your IP, because it is a wonderful creation. I want to see the best of success with it. Will it succeed? I don't know. I think the market is certainly there. I think they certainly have enough people interested in it. However, taking on something like game development, which is what I assume it's going to be, is a very big undertaking. And like they have proven themselves, like they can be amazing, amazing animators, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can translate that into creating a game. So I don't know. I really hope so. I've put up $1,700 of my own money that, again, I expect goes to zero, just because I look at these as collections, not assets that I want to sell. That it will succeed, and I want it to succeed. And what I want to end with is, hey, I think this is amazing artwork. I think it could be a really, really interesting IP, further expanding the universes of this, dystopian, like animatronic, nostalgic horror. And I really, really want it to exist, but please don't dismiss it just because it's an NFT, and take it from someone who hopefully I've been open and honest with you guys enough to help cultivate some amount of trust. Like, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not saying like you're going to make a lot of money. Actually, I'm dispelling like, hey, there's a lot of shit in the crypto realm that I don't want to exist. And this is why I'm working in it, is to help like just prove the technology, because it's a great technology once you get rid of all the speculation. And I want KandyLand to exist. I don't want you to dismiss it just because it's an NFT. Like, I think we have a long way of going of winning people's trust in this industry. And hopefully, you know, at the very least, I didn't change your mind, but maybe I was able to make it a little less hostile. And again, you don't have to support it. What I would say is like if you're hesitant on NFTs in general, wait until the game comes out and then base it off the merit of that, or wait until all of the episodes come out and base your enjoyment of the IP off of that and not how it was created or what was used to fund it. And Candyland, I think you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the great work. Please stay open and honest with people. I think you're one of the IPs that could really, really do well in this space and hopefully start changing the narrative around crypto technologies. But yeah, that's it for me. Again, I hope you guys do well and best of luck.